Well, standing in front of Moscow Kremlin, which has been always viewed as a symbol of Russian power, we are to think about the upcoming presidential elections in Russia, which will be held in March 2008, as this election will define the master of those palaces right behind me. Well, speaking about Russian power in general, one could say that in Russia, it is natural to have a strong power of one leader. It has been natural in Tsar times, it has been natural during the communist times, and it is becoming a tradition in a new democratic Russia. Well, for example, the United States is also enjoying the system of strong presidential administrations, and it does not mean that it is a great menace to democracy. But still, Russia has to do some steps further, not to go back to the authoritarian regimes which it had already passed. So, the upcoming election are of a great importance for the whole Russian society, because they are to define whether the country will be able to will be able to develop a democratic way, or it will be again driven back to the authoritarian regime. That's why the upcoming elections must be viewed as something extremely important, not only for Russia but for the world community as well, because to have a country which is the number one according to its territory, which is the member of G8, which has one of the fastest growing economy, and which enjoys the great profits from the high oil prices, one needs to think about its place in the world. And of course, provided that Russia is a democratic state and can think in terms of rational decision making, which defends the interests of its own people and at the same time defends the interests of the humanity. So in this sense, Russia is becoming extremely important, and that's why the elections of president in Russia are also important as well. So, as for the possible scenarios of the upcoming elections, one can see several. Well, the existing power, the existing people who are today in power, of course, would be doing everything to save their places. But as it has been stated several times by President Putin, these are the Russians themselves, the Russian citizens, who are to decide in the final analysis who will take in this power, who will take in the Kremlin. So let's hope it will be really a fair choice of Russian people who will be able to choose a prosperous future. Thank you. It was Dmitry Udalov, World Security Network Russian editor.